The United States Congress is arguably one of the most powerful institutions in the world, and yet the way it works can often seem out of reach for students. The working papers of former members of Congress provide insight into the inner workings of this institution, though they are largely accessed by congressional scholars who, like these collections, are scattered all around the country. CongressArchives.org represents an effort to make the knowledge and historic material hidden within these collections more accessible, not just to professional researchers, but to classrooms around the country.
My name is Danielle Emmerling. I'm the Associate Director of the West Virginia and Regional History Center at West Virginia University. We think that students will really benefit from interacting with the primary sources from congressional archives. What they do is they reveal the complexity of issues in the past and the debates that took place, and also sort of multiple perspectives that people were taking.
My name is Robert Lay. I'm the head of arrangement and description at the Richard B. Russell Library at the University of Georgia. In the 21st century, everyone expects to have information available instantaneously and on demand. Being able to search the internet for something and actually find the source in an organized fashion that can then lead you to other sources that are also speaking to the same topic is invaluable, and essentially it's what modern researchers and modern students expect.
Aloha, my name is Dawn Sueoka, and I'm the Congressional Papers Archivist at the University of Hawaii at Manoa Library. I used to think of civics education as like, oh, it's helping people understand like how a bill becomes a law. But before students even learn about that, I feel like we as educators have to give them a reason to be interested and a reason to believe how a bill becomes a law is even significant to them or significant to their lives.
My name is Sarah Gard. I'm the Senior Archivist and Head of Collections at the Robert J. Dole Institute of Politics at the University of Kansas. We host a lot of middle and high schoolers in person at the Dole Institute, and it's always so rewarding to see them read constituent letters, look at press releases. I think they connect with seeing how things are actually done.
I'm Jay Price, and I'm at the University of Oklahoma at the Carl Albert Congressional Research and Studies Center, and I'm a senior archivist. But feedback from the students is you could open correspondence from constituents, and if it didn't have the date, the time on it, you would think it would be present day. So some of the same issues have found their way back, into the forefront of our minds and for our government. But what we're seeing at Congressional Archives are behind the scenes, like what really made that bill? How did they even come up with that bill? And what we find out, it was a very long process.
I'm Tiffany White. I'm the Executive Director of the Dirksen Congressional Center located in Pekin, Illinois. We've been working with our partner institutions from around the country to upload thousands of items from our congressional collections and to make them available online to both students and educators in one intentionally designed location.
The American Congress Digital Archives portal makes these collections available more broadly. It creates more equitable access to our collections.
Especially now, because there's more information available to the average human being than ever in the history of mankind, having the ability to tell truth from dross is very important. And so educating students about primary source documents. So these are documents created by real people in the moment. They're contemporary to the time that they're describing.
And so the people who were creating the documents did not necessarily know like what the outcome of their actions would be. And I think it's important for young people to recognize that, we're making history every day.
And perhaps the greatest strength of the portal is that it allows us to converge historic material, but from diverse collections in a way that provides a more comprehensive understanding of the topics that they represent.
They touch on the New Deal and the Works Progress Administration, issues like isolationism and trying to keep America out of the war in Europe.
They touch on fair housing, on the end of the Cold War, and on civility in Congress.
On American Indian sovereignty.
On the Iran-Contra affair, the dismissal of General Douglas MacArthur during the Korean War.
Immigration reform, civil rights, the Vietnam War, all the way up to, the war in Iraq, the Affordable Care Act, and even January 6th.
So the portal includes documents, but it also includes audiovisual materials because that's a very important way of engaging students in a classroom.
Something that we're really excited to be contributing in this phase of the portal is digitized audio recordings from reel-to-reels.
This is Congressman Bob Dole with my weekly radio report from Washington. I do invite your comments and suggestions if you may be listening.
Richard B. Russell was a segregationist, and so the easy assumption would be he represents Georgia. Georgians must have been pro-segregation, which in a large degree was true, but when you get more granular, as you can with these congressional collections and the constituent correspondence, you see that there's quite a bit of back and forth. We wanted to show constituent relations working in the office and public sentiment pushing policy forward.
So the available material offers a multitude of classroom opportunities, with primary source documents serving as the foundation for lesson plans. For example, students can view original letters, office memos, and even listen to radio interviews and public addresses in order to better understand how something like the Fair Housing Act evolved from idea to law.
Where the assignment is not, write me a 10-page paper about this thing, it's learn to use the archive, find a letter that's about whatever policy area you want to pick, and then find someone who's writing about that. And it really kind of gives you a view into someone's life because there's a lot of sentiment that goes into these letters.
And then once we have them, then they really find their way to the collections and with the documents and the audio, and they become involved and find a topic that they find interesting to them.
I think these primary source materials are the raw materials of history. I think they humanize history, and being able to see them is more engaging than reading about history in a textbook.
Secondary sources are very good for learning about a topic and kind of surveying what resources are there and what people have used, but if that's your only source, you are locking yourself into someone else's view and interpretation of what they looked at.
Nothing was inevitable. None of these issues were settled or were going to end up in any particular way. It was really people working together to make decisions and make change. And I hope that that will inspire and empower students to do the same.
Visit us at congressarchives.org to learn more.